Internationally, only 2 confirmed cases in SKN, says CMO Dr. Hazel Laws. And no need to panic, says PM Harris, following confirmed cases of COVID-19 in SKN. Regionally, BVI confirms first 2 cases of coronavirus. Internationally, U.S. Senate passes $2 trillion disaster aid bill. And in sports, Tokyo Olympics, Justin Gatlin, 38, says he can win gold. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back, and now the national news in detail. There still remain only 2 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in St. Kitts and Nevis. That's according to a statement from Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws. According to the statement, as of 4 p.m. today, Thursday, March 26th, there still remain only 2 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in St. Kitts and Nevis. Of the 18 cases that were pending at CAFA, we have received negative results for 6 cases. We await the results of the remaining 12 cases. In spite of my major priority in leading our COVID-19 response, and in particular, our contact tracing program to keep our people safe, I am compelled to take the time to address the public on the matter of malicious and misleading voice messages that have been circulating via social media. That, A, attempt to bring dishonor to our national COVID-19 task force, and B, create the false impression that my relationship with the Honorable Prime Minister is confrontational. There is no such confrontational relationship, CMO Laws added. Dr. Laws said, as has been noted by the Ministry of Health repeatedly, we want the public to understand that the ministry remains the only official source of information on COVID-19. Sensational stories circulating on social media should be taken as false, misleading, and questionable. With the dreaded coronavirus COVID-19 being declared a pandemic, deaths of over 23,000 and St. Kitts and Nevis being one of the last Caribbean countries to have confirmed cases of the virus, Prime Minister Dr. Honorable Timothy Harris has sought to provide some consolation in spite of the situation. At present, there are only 2 confirmed cases of the virus in the Federation. Additionally, PM Harris, in an address on Wednesday, March 25th, said,
this was not unexpected. Our plan has always been to keep the virus at bay for as long as possible, to provide us the time to be better prepared. And we are better prepared for this eventuality. My cabinet wishes to assure all our citizens and residents that there is no need to panic. There is no need to worry. The family of 2 who returned to St. Kitts from the United States of America just a few days ago has already been isolated and are being taken care of by our medical professionals.
Prime Minister Dr. Honorable Timothy Harris. At 5:45 p.m. today, March 26, there were 525,811 cases of the virus globally and 123,329 recovered cases. In more national news.
Given the uncertainties, we have therefore concluded that it serves the best interest of all parties to postpone this year's St. Kitts Music Festival from the 24th to the 28th of June 2020 until June 23rd to 27th, 2021.
That's Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Lindsay Grant. Minister Grant made the announcement today, March 26th. This comes on the heels of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis recording its first 2 cases of the coronavirus. Minister Grant also provided the rationale behind the postponement.
With borders across the world closing, airline services cancelled, a cruise sector that has suspended services, and many communities in North America, in Europe, and other regions on the mandatory lockdown, affecting millions of persons, we here in St. Kitts and Nevis have decided to take action to protect the integrity of the festival. Our priority remains the safety and the general well-being of all involved.
Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Lindsay Grant. Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, issued an address to Nevisians, by extension, residents and citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, updating the public about the COVID-19 situation. In the address today, March 26th, Premier Brantley made this remark.
I recognize that the closure of preschools and daycare facilities will cause hardship for parents with children in need of care. In this regard, all public servants in Nevis who have children in preschool or daycare shall be required to take vacation due to them immediately. Those who have no vacation time due to them will be asked to obtain the written permission of the relevant ministry for which they work to proceed on leave so that they can stay at home with their infants. The NIA will continue to pay the salaries and wages of such persons for the initial period of 6 weeks, subject to further evaluation. I urge the private sector to partner with us and to do likewise.
He added that other parents should take vacation considering the present circumstances.
I encourage other parents similarly affected who might have vacation time to take their vacation. This will allow them to care for their children at home, but also help enforce the physical distancing recommendations. I also encourage other public servants, many of whom have accumulated holiday, to take those holidays now and to liaise with their ministers and ministries in that regard.
Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley. St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party's SKNLP's candidate for St. Christopher No. 8, Dr. Terence Drew, has urged residents and citizens of SKN to keep calm following the announcement of 2 confirmed cases of the coronavirus COVID-19 in St. Kitts and Nevis. On Wednesday, March 25th, Minister of State with Responsibility for Health, the Honorable Wendy Phipps, who made the announcement of the cases, stated that the individuals, a 57-year-old female and a 21-year-old male, arrived in the Federation last Wednesday, March 18th from New York. Dr. Drew, who is also medical internist, stated, "This is really some daunting news. However, let's stay calm." He urged all to practice good hygiene, eat well, stay hydrated, take vitamins if needed, stay away from crowds. If sick with flu-like symptoms, stay at home and call the doctor. Stay away from people who are sick and rest adequately. In a release from the Ministry of Education here in Nevis, a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education, Mr. Kevin Barrett, stated the importance of schoolwork packages for students in light of the school closures due to the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the release, in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic and the confirmation of 2 persons in our federation who have tested positive for the coronavirus, the Ministry of Education gives you the assurance that we are taking the crisis seriously. The release mentioned that the Department of Education, headed by Principal Education Officer Ms. Zanella Claxton, was very proactive in putting in place Phase 1 of our response to the COVID-19 pandemic. This response included ensuring that your children were properly supplied with teacher-prepared work packages at the early closure of a school. The main objective of the school work packages is to provide children with what is mostly review material and exercises, which they can complete while away from school. Because of the coronavirus pandemic, Term 2 here in SKN ended early, as the last day of school was Wednesday, March 25th. The St. Christopher and Nevis Social Security Board, in an effort to ensure the health and safety of all its stakeholders, is constantly reviewing its strategies while still providing a means for insured persons to access benefits in light of the COVID-19. Based on information from the board, the significant effect of COVID-19 on the economic well-being of our insured requires an equally significant response by the board. As a consequence, funds of up to $15 million have been set aside to assist insured persons whose employment is affected by the mandatory COVID-19 response. To assist them through this difficult time, we propose to pay to each insured person who is laid off or unemployed, including self-employed persons, as a result of the impact of COVID-19, $1,000 per month for a period of 3 months in the first instance. These persons, though not in active employment, would also receive their contribution credits to ensure that they are not disadvantaged with respect to future benefit entitlements. In the coming days, according to the board, more details on how this benefit can be obtained will be provided through our public relations and customer services departments. And finally, due to the confirmation of cases of the coronavirus COVID-19 in St. Kitts and Nevis, the Ministry of Sustainable Development will be suspending face-to-face interviews for the Poverty Alleviation Program, PAP. This comes from Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Mrs. Elvita Simpson-Brown. This measure is one of several initiatives undertaken in an effort to minimize the risk of spreading the coronavirus among staff and members of the general public. According to a release from the government, considering the above-mentioned, persons who are interested in signing up due to the impact of the coronavirus are asked to contact the office via telephone numbers 467-1257 or 662-3597 or email statistics@gov.kn. However, in order to be eligible, the following information is required, preferably by electronic means: letter of layoff or redundancy, evidence of most recent salary, wage slip, and if non-national, country of birth and proof of residency status. Additionally, visits to the office will be limited to scheduled appointments. However, walk-ins will be accommodated by allowing a maximum of 2 persons to enter the reception area at any given time. And that's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on Facebook at Von Radio or our Von Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. News from across the region is next.
As well as your business needs, and we're here to help. Our knowledgeable staff will work with you to help you achieve the financial success that you or your company needs in a competitive market. We offer solutions to make your banking experience easier, like our savings and checking accounts. Be sure to ask about our youth savers accounts and our Bank of Nevis Go Club. We offer a wide range of personal loans, including mortgage, land, student, auto, and consumer loans. Have access to your funds instantly with our Online internet banking and our debit and credit cards. We make international banking and investing easy. How's your business? Give it the leverage it really needs by letting the Bank of Nevis assist you with all the necessary funding for all your business expenses. It's that easy. What are you waiting for? The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life.
Like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/The Bank of Nevis.
Welcome back. Another regional news in detail. The British Virgin Islands has confirmed its first 2 cases of the coronavirus. Premier Andrew Foy made the announcement via a live press conference on Wednesday, March 25th, according to stlucianNewsOnline.com. One of the patients is a 56-year-old male resident who traveled from Europe on March 15th. He was reportedly exhibiting mild symptoms, so he contacted the government's medical hotline. He has been quarantined at home since. Patient B is a 32-year-old male resident who traveled recently from New York and came into contact with a person who tested positive for COVID-19 on March 8th, Premier Foy said. The patient arrived on island on March 10th. The medical hotline was contacted on the same day he was tested and remained quarantined at home since then, the Premier added. Both cases are unrelated, Mr. Foy further said, adding that both test samples had been sent to the Caribbean Public Health Emergency Agency, CARPHA, for testing. He said the results from those tests were obtained on March 25th. Meanwhile, Dominica on Wednesday confirmed 11 cases of the coronavirus COVID-19. This is a rise from 7 reported on Tuesday. This is according to national epidemiologist Dr. Shalandin Ahmed. He said all the positive cases are in isolation. 10 of the 11 cases are from one location, he explained. Out of Martinique. The French island has reported 15 new cases of coronavirus, bringing the total to 81 patients as of today, March 26th. French health authorities have warned that the number is expected to increase significantly by the end of March to the beginning of April. New data released on Thursday showed that positive cases increased to 81, up from 66 on Wednesday. The new cases are hospitalized at the Martinique University Hospital Center, with 12 in intensive care. Since Martinique began reporting positive cases of the virus, 2 patients have been healed and 1 has died. With the situation getting worse, officials are warning citizens to stay indoors, according to stlucianewsonline.com. Still in regional news. Cayman Islands has 3 new cases of coronavirus, including 1 case that was initially declared as negative after preliminary tests in the territory. In total, Cayman now has 8 positive cases and 1 suspected positive case, and involving a patient at the Cayman Islands Hospital with no travel history, and that is being subjected to further investigation. The country has so far recorded 1 death. Also, Barbados. Consumers and retailers in the country will see the ban on all petrol-based plastic bags take effect on April 1st, 2020. Minister of Maritime Affairs and the Blue Economy, Kirk Humphrey, reiterated this point as he reminded members of the public of the plan for the country to stop using petrol-based plastic bags. Commending supermarkets and retailers for their response to the ban on petrol-based plastic bags and the level of innovation to create alternatives, the minister also assured the public that bags would still be available after that date. Humphrey explained that the manufacturers were able to generate a plastic bag that was not of a petroleum base. NationNews.com quoted him as saying, "They are making plastics now from cornstarch. They're making their bags from a PLA, polylactic acid, which is an organic compound, so that we are going to still be able to have access to these bags." He noted that local manufacturers were ahead of the game and leading the charge in the Caribbean, to the point that they will be able to supply other parts of the region. He explained that local plastic bag manufacturers were given an extension to first retrofit their factories to use a natural organic-based resin. And that was accomplished but on January 1st, there was no resin available as it was being used en masse by other manufacturers. This led to the postponement of the ban until April 1st. And finally, the number of confirmed COVID-19 coronavirus cases in Trinidad and Tobago now stands at 60. The number was disclosed by Health Minister Terence Deyalsingh at a press briefing in Port of Spain on Wednesday morning. Deyalsingh said that 44 positive cases came from the cruise ship passengers and that there was still very limited exposure to community spread. A total of 370 samples were being tested. Deyalsingh appealed again to the 20,000 people who entered Trinidad and Tobago over the past 14 days to keep to themselves as far as humanly possible. Don't go out to work, to the mall, in a taxi, or at the grocery to limit community spread, he said. Chief Medical Officer Roshan Parasram said that a large number of those people have been doing the right thing, but it would only take a few to put citizens in jeopardy. He said that the law enforcement was monitoring people, and if required, people would be quarantined, stricter quarantine measures to be around homes, or for fines or a term of imprisonment imposed. He said there were some examples of people not doing the right thing, and if people did not abide, the full force of the quarantine law would be enforced. And that's it for the regional stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back. And now the international news in detail. The U.S. Senate has passed a $2 trillion coronavirus aid bill that is the largest economic stimulus in U.S. history. The vote was delayed by a last-minute vote between Republican and Democratic senators over unemployment benefits. The plan includes direct payments of $1,200 to most American adults and aid to help small businesses pay workers. U.S. coronavirus deaths are around the 1,000 mark, and there are over 80,000 confirmed infections. The BBC's David Willis reports.
The World Health Organization has speculated that this could be the epicenter, the United States, of the coronavirus. We've had 68,000 cases confirmed already and more than 1,000 deaths. The president, though, seeming to be more concerned perhaps about getting the economy back on its knees, getting America back open for business by Easter, he is saying, although medical advisors are warning him that that should be an aspirational target.
India has announced a $22 billion stimulus package to help shield the country's economy from the impact of the coronavirus. Farmers, migrant workers, and the urban and rural poor will benefit from immediate cash transfers and food packages. We have more in this BBC report.
The government says these measures will benefit over 800 million poor Indians. The Indian government will now give free additional ration till June to the poor. Farmers will be getting nearly $30 transferred to their bank accounts out of an $80 payout the government gives them annually. For the next 3 months, daily wage laborers employed by the government in rural India will get an additional $27. Health workers at the front lines of the COVID-19 outbreak will be given a $66,000 insurance cover.
The number of Americans filing for unemployment has surged to a record high as the economy goes into lockdown due to the coronavirus pandemic. Nearly 3.3 million people registered to claim jobless benefits for the week ended March 21st, according to Department of Labor data. That is nearly 5 times more than the previous record of 695,000 set in 1982. The rush overwhelmed many state offices handling the claims and signaled an abrupt end to a decade of expansion. More in this BBC report.
The US economy has never taken a battering like this. Go back over 50 years of employment figures and you see a graph with small weekly changes in the jobless totals. The biggest increase ever came during the recession of 1982. Then 695,000 registered unemployed. Today, the figure was a staggering 3.2 million. Donald Trump's strategy for winning the 2020 election was to go to the American people with the stock market soaring and unemployment at a record low, not the other way round. Coronavirus has turned everything on its head.
That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Your business needs. Superior copy and printing services, business equipment and furniture, and a wide array of renting materials for all occasions. TDC Business Center, providing solutions that work.
Welcome back. Another sports in detail. In athletics, former Olympic and world 100-meter champion Justin Gatlin says he can win gold at the Tokyo Olympics despite him likely being 39 when the postponed games take place. The Olympics, due to begin in July, were postponed this week because of the coronavirus pandemic. American Gatlin, 39, won gold at Athens 2004 and the world title in London in 2017 after a second doping ban. Asked if he could win in Tokyo, he told TMZ Sports, "My educated guess is yes. The games will be staged no later than summer 2021, according to the International Olympic Committee." Gatlin, who turns 39 in February, said, "A lot of people think that time is against me, but that is far from the truth. Rest in your body, refocus in yourself, and staying hungry. We will come back re-energized for 2021. Gatlin served a 4-year ban between 2006 and 2010 after testing positive for testosterone, his second doping offense after a year suspension for using a banned amphetamine in 2001. His victory at London 2017, when he shocked the retiring Usain Bolt and fellow American Christian Coleman, was greeted by jeers from the crowd. In local sports, the Nevis Amateur Basketball Association (NABA) has officially suspended all activities until further notice. According to a statement from its president, Freddie Hanley, everyone is to follow the guidelines recommended by the Ministry of Health and to help minimize the spread of the virus by practicing social distancing. In more local news, basketball action was held last Saturday evening, March 21st. 2 games were played at the Kodak Road Basketball Court at 6:30 p.m. In Game 1, a combined Spanish-based team with players from St. Kitts and Nevis engaged the NABA Chargers. Final scores: Spanish team 80 points beat the NBA Chargers 70 points. In Game 2, 2 local teams faced off, Eagles versus Dynamics, but rain brought a sudden end to it. The scores at the time were Eagles 39 points, Dynamics 38 points. In cricket, England all-rounder Ben Stokes says he's still preparing for a return to competitive cricket in the Indian Premier League next month. India was put into a 3-week total lockdown on Tuesday because of the worldwide coronavirus pandemic. The start of the IPL season has been delayed until 15th April at the earliest, but it has not been cancelled. At the moment, my next competitive cricket is going to be in the IPL, Stokes told BBC Radio 5 Live. Stokes, 28, is one of 13 English players due to feature in the lucrative tournament, which was due to start on March 29th. Last week, the England and Wales Cricket Board announced that the county season would not start until at least the end of May. Stokes is spending a sustained period at home after England's winter tour of Sri Lanka was called off 2 weeks ago. In tennis, the All England Club says a decision regarding this year's Wimbledon will be made next week. In a statement on Wednesday, the club said postponement and cancellation of the event, scheduled between 29th June and 12th July, was because of the impact of coronavirus and there were possible outcomes. Playing behind closed doors has been formally ruled out. Earlier this month, the French Open, due to have begun in May, was rescheduled to 20th September to 4th October. That's it for sports. The General Weather Report is next. Welcome back, and now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight will be partly cloudy with a 20% or slight chance of a light shower. Weather tomorrow will be partly cloudy with a 40% or moderate chance of a brief afternoon shower. Winds are generally easterly at 6 to 14 knots or 11 to 26 kilometers per hour, with lighter spells in some places overnight. Seas are 1 to 1.5 meters or 3 to 5 feet. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:10 a.m. And that's our the Media News package for today, Thursday, March 26, 2020. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, Only 2 confirmed cases in SKN, says CMO Dr. Hazel Laws. And no need to panic, says PM Harris, following confirmed cases of COVID-19 in SKN. Regionally, BVI confirms first 2 cases of coronavirus. Internationally, U.S. Senate passes $2 trillion disaster aid bill. And in sports, Tokyo Olympics, Justin Gatlin, 38, says he can win gold. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashan Tyson, wishing you a pleasant evening.